Okay, so we have the RWD varsity defensive coach. A little bit of a juggle in coaches this year. Congratulations on that, Joe.
Thanks.
And due to illness or I guess a medical procedure, Coach Matson was unable to make it to the Onalaska thing this past weekend. So you kind of took over behind the bench with the RWD team. First of all, just the Onalaska tournament in general. I guess like the primary purpose of the off-season stuff is bonding and stuff like that. Just getting a chance for the younger kids to get a taste of varsity hockey. This event, because of the teams that are in it, though, there's some pretty natural rivalries there, and they're usually pretty physical.
Yeah, it's obviously an opportunity for the bonding, like you said, for the new kids to come into the program. It's an opportunity for kids to kind of see where they're at, whether it's the new kids or some of the kids looking to move from JV to varsity. Little shifting around of who's going to potentially play where, because that always changes, as we all know. Coach Matson always finds the kids that he believes do well in any given position, and it can change year to year just depending on how it suits the team. So that and just to stay in your skates, little shooting, little puck control, little hockey IQ building, but more of it's just to mix those new kids into the program. It's a really good opportunity for them to start feeling what high school hockey is all about: the speed, the size, the potential physicality that sometimes does occur at any of these scrimmages or tournaments we play in.
So that said, in general, just it's a long way from the start of the regular season, but were you happy with what you saw on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, we were limited up in Onalaska with the number of kids that showed up.
Right.
Some kids had some life things come up, whether it was work or other sporting activities. So we were down to about 15 skaters. We had quite a few freshmen playing forward for us. So that was, but we held our own. We were in every game, win or tie, lose by one. So I was happy with what I saw. Coach Oakes was up there to help too. So there were some positives for sure to see. Some of those kids have to just step up and take leadership, whether it's leadership roles or do a little bit more than they expect as a freshman. Even for the experience wise, there was a lot of good things.
Okay, that's good to hear. And then also, I wanted to ask you, as a defensive coach now, not to put any added pressure on you, but when I look at the teams now, obviously you have to wait until the season starts to make any kind of predictions and stuff. But based on returners and, goal scorers that have left the team and stuff like that, I feel like all four Sauk County teams this year are going to have to rely heavily on defense. I don't know if that's the plan for RWD, but I just feel like they're not going to be guaranteed to score 5 goals a game or stuff like that, and I think there might have to be a little bit more of a focus on defense. Not that there hasn't been in the past, but it's just going to be a primary thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Mike Welch and Jeremy Greenwood are both going to be back on the defensive side, so I'm really stepping in to just help them work with the kids, develop. What I see, everybody sees things a little differently, can tweak things, help. Everybody comes with a little different experience. From a defensive standpoint, for our program, defensively or offensively, we obviously graduated a significant amount of experience. So yeah, I think everything starts in the defensive zone. I think you could argue that at any given level, all the way through to the NHL, right? If you can't play defense, you're not going to win games. So we have 2, senior defensemen coming back. Finding the additional defenseman is what we're going to do. And again, going back to what I said earlier about Coach Matson, he may end up moving somebody back that was a forward a year ago or for a couple years, and and stuff like that, just to make the team as strong as the team can be. So it's definitely going to be putting some pieces in place, building a puzzle. But yeah, I agree. I think it all starts defensively, and of course, having Alex back with the year that he had last year and the confidence that has to give him can only be a positive for our program.
Yeah, I think that's a major thing. Obviously, you talked about the seniors. I think it's Elder and Othmer will be the seniors. But yeah, the one thing that both RWD and Baraboo have going for them is some really stellar goaltending. Greeby, he gave a hint of it as a freshman with just a flawless JV season. He really did all that he had to do last year, and both Schweda and Greeby, I think, are going to be among the best in the conference this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around Alex for 4 years, the 2 years of Bantams for sure, and then the 2 years of high school, and the growth that he's made in the 4 years has been, it's been exceptional. It's been great. He clearly took a role and the responsibility of having to step in and replace Cooper Oaks, and took it seriously because he has excelled as he had. And some of that has to do with obviously having a very senior team, but you know. He showed a lot of things this weekend or this past weekend. Some whether it was just a positive attitude, not taking anything from anybody. Kind of even somewhat being a leader on the team, even as a quiet goaltender. So that's definitely a plus to see. And like you said, I mean, clearly with Burke coming back to Baraboo, he's a solid defense goalie. I mean, the shots that he saw, I'd argue that you put him on any of the top teams in the state, he's an all-state goaltender in my opinion. 100%. And Alex is right there with the same numbers. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these goalies all play out throughout the year.
I agree. And then the one sort of intangible, I guess, always that nobody knows a lot about is the incoming freshmen. You know a little bit about them because of your, you're heavily involved with the youth program here. Do you think there's some guys that will be rookies that could turn some heads this year? Oh, for sure. There's quite a bit of playing time experience that those kids have gotten over the years. Whether it's Ethan Wilcox, Wyatt, Arnold, and then the Kowalski brothers, they all show a lot of potential to be very good, solid high school hockey players, whether it's coming in as a freshman and having to step up and or as they progress throughout their career at the high school over the course of the next 4 years. It's a good start. It's a good base. A lot of work to do, obviously, and hopefully a little bit of physical growing. Because we're not a big kid group coming in like we were with that group that just left. I mean, they were significantly larger as freshmen. So there is a lot of potential that I see in the program, and I believe all the coaches would agree with that. Excellent. So now, speaking of the youth hockey, we are sitting in Raqqa at this moment, and discovering that as cold as this rink is in the winter, that's how hot it is in the summer. For sure. You've been doing some off-ice or dry land type workouts with your Bantam age players who will be part of the RWD Bantam team in the fall. Now that's obviously a long way off, and a lot of the players are 2 or 3 sport athletes, but just getting in and getting together for workouts and stuff, it pays off down the road, I would think. Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer that nothing is going to hurt as long as we're doing it correctly. Every little bit helps, and maybe it'll instill in some of the kids the desire to do more work away from here also. Because we're limited on how much time we have. Everybody's got other sports, like you mentioned. Football will be starting up in August here pretty quick. And we're practicing all the time. With baseball just finishing up, or is going to finish up here pretty quick. Filling in the Vine of the nights is definitely tough. We've been doing it a couple nights a week. I've had a good group of roughly 8 kids that can make it, depending on where they're at, and they're working hard. No complaints about that. We got a lot of work to do. Our numbers are not extremely high at the 2009-10 U14 group this year, with the number of 09s that have opted to play high school hockey. So we got to take some steps away from the ice rink to try to get better on the ice, and that was the idea behind this, and just working with the kids and trying to get them a little bit better when we can. Yeah, and it's just really nice to see that some of the players are interested enough to want to come out and get better in the off season. Definitely, yeah. I mean, anytime somebody's willing to come and put in, and we work an hour and a half. Like I said, a couple days a week, and they're willing to come here, and they consistently are coming back whenever they can. So I think that's a good thing. It definitely is a good thing. Okay. Thank you for this, Joe, and we'll probably see you again when this place is a little bit colder. Sounds good. Thanks, Jimmy.